As you all know by now, well, I hope you do, Nigeria has transitioned from one administration to another. Despite the mountain of controversy that greeted the Nigerian presidential election, Bola Tinubu has been sworn into office to replace the former president Muhammadu Buhari. I could focus and talk more about the controversy, the election rigging, the threats and violence, and so on, but I won't do that, not in this video. In this video, what I want to do is to rate Bola Tinubu's performance in his first month in office. Naturally, 1 month is clearly too short to grade any office holder, but Nigeria is in such a dire state that every day counts, every action and inaction of the president counts. Except you are living under a rock, you would know that the country handed over to Bola Tinubu is still in the verge of economic collapse. The national debt is ballooning out of control. The cost of living is skyrocketing beyond the reach of the average Nigerian. People are anxious about the policy direction of the new president. What will Bola Tinubu do? How will he start? Because they know there is no more room for error. Buhari has left Bola Tinubu no room for error. Another reason I'm doing this early is that I want to make this into a series. The first month performance appraisal will be followed by a report of Tinubu's first 3 months in office, his first 6 months in office, and then his first year in office, and so on. That is, if he's still president by then. I believe this is the best way for us to carefully catalog and monitor his agenda and policy implementation strategy. So, how has Bola Tinubu performed in his first month in office? We're going to use 5 metrics: inflation, security, appointment, and work rate. Let's start with work rate. This may sound unimportant, but you know, one of the greatest criticism of Bola Tinubu during the presidential election campaigns was the fact that many consider him to be too old to be president. Okay, full disclosure. I've always thought that a 10 years younger Bola Tinubu would obviously have been better for Nigeria. I mean, that is discounting the issue of alleged corruption and the other criticisms that have been leveled against him. I think, like many other Nigerians who voted for Peter Obi and other presidential candidates, I would not have minded if Tinubu were the one put forward when General Buhari ran against Jonathan. Okay, I know that would not have been possible at the time given that Jonathan was from the south. I'm just saying that a younger Bola Tinubu would not have had to rig the election as he's alleged to have done. That notwithstanding, I think with his work rate so far, he has shown that he still has the physical energy that the office of the presidency demands. If you have been following his first month in office, you would have known that the man practically had meetings with most leaders of different agencies. He's visited several offices and departments, just as he was simultaneously dealing with the threat of strike by the Nigerian Labour Congress. Last week, he was in France for the Global Financial Summit, where he met and spoke with a group of Nigerians in diaspora. He has since returned back to Nigeria to continue where he stopped. I know there are many who thought that he could have performed better in France. Frankly, I thought so too. But on the second thought, it was his first outing. So let's cut the man a slack a little bit. And that coming from me takes a lot. Because as you guys know, I have been very critical of this man. But at some point, you have to make sure that your criticism is not just for criticism's sake. It's actually for something that he's done wrong. So when he does something right, we can say so as well. So yeah, I know it's still early days, but I'll give him a pass mark for work rate. Perhaps the bar was set too low in the first place. Still, I'll give him a pass mark for work rate. We'll see how well he continues to do and keep up with the pace of activities. Okay, next. How about inflation? How has Bola Tinubu performed with inflation? The cost of things are obviously still very high. Normally, I would not have even considered this issue at this time. After all, the man has not even been president for more than a month. But I have to. Why? Because of what Bola Tinubu did on Inauguration Day. On Inauguration Day, Bola Tinubu announced that fuel subsidy was gone. This ill-advised announcement led to a cascade of events and activities that further increased the price of goods and services. So, he basically contributed to the high cost of living just by his words. Don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming him for removing fuel subsidy. In fact, I fully support him on this because as we all know, fuel subsidy has always been a fraud and a scam for a very long time. Nevertheless, what I and so many other Nigerians oppose is the way he went about it. Some people have said he ought to have put palliative in place before the removal. That's great, but that's not really the problem for me. How much palliative is he going to put in place that will make any difference in your life anyways? 5,000 naira? Give me a break. My issue is with his approach. Why did he announce the removal of the subsidy at all on that first day? Buhari already made the announcement on subsidy removal. I can't understand why Bola Tinubu had to play to the gallery and announce it again on his inauguration speech and then cause the panic that led to further inflation. If you want to know more of my thoughts on this issue, I have a video that you may watch. The link will be in the description. Mind you, I'm not criticizing Bola Tinubu on the state of the economy. That would not be fair at all. I am criticizing him on his contribution to the high cost of fuel specifically, as well as other goods and services. I hope he can now begin to make policies that will reverse inflation and save people from the needless suffering. In any case, on inflation, he failed. Next, major appointments. In many sense, the presidency is not different from any other organization. No presidency can be successful without good staff. If you are wondering why Buhari failed woefully, you have your answer. This is the reason. I have always trusted that Bola Tinubu has better judgment when it comes to finding talent than Buhari, and he has proven me right with some of his appointments, particularly his appointment of Femi Gbajabiamila as the chief of staff. That appointment is spot on. Bola Tinubu also, in theory, picked a very good security team, but we cannot really say they are good until we begin to see results. It's too early to make that call. However, I will give him a pass mark for diversity in the security team. Of course, it could have been better. For example, the North Central is not represented and the Northeast has only one spot. That's not good enough. But still, it is better than Buhari's nepotistic approach to appointments. Yet, if we are to be honest, anyone as president would have been better than Buhari. The man was a disaster for Nigeria. If you want my full analysis of the appointment of Femi Gbajabiamila and why I think it is good not just for Tinubu but also for Nigeria, watch this video. The link will be in the description. It is not a secret that the greatest weakness that Bola Tinubu has is his age. Let's not kid ourselves. This is one of the main reasons many prefer Peter Obi, but that does not mean that Bola Tinubu cannot govern well if he wants to. It's not the most ideal situation, but with the right people in the right place, he can run an effective government. I think he has started on a good note with the appointment, especially with that of the COS, who I believe will certainly help him checkmate all the vultures at the gate and steer his administration hopefully to the right direction. So on appointment so far, I give Bola Tinubu a pass mark. Lastly, security. This is clearly tied to the appointment of security chiefs. The state of insecurity in Nigeria cannot be said to have improved in the last 1 month, not that anyone expects it to. There continues to be killings and kidnappings across the country. Still, I cannot criticize Bola Tinubu on this issue, not yet. His administration is too young to be blamed for any insecurity in Nigeria at this time. On the other hand, I think he has started well overall. Yet, this means nothing if he does not make the necessary changes required in security architecture as many experts have advised. So, on the matter of security in Nigeria, I will reserve grading him on his 3-month anniversary. So, stay tuned. The last thing I want to talk about is his dealings with what I call his perceived political enemies. Godwin Emefiele, the ex-CBN governor, and Mohammed Bawa, the suspended EFCC chairman. In my opinion, I think Bola Tinubu is on a vengeance mission on this issue. These two people had cases against him. These two people showed that they did not support his presidency when he was running for office. And the first thing he does when it comes to power is to remove them. Not just remove them, that's fine. But to arrest them and have them detained without due process, for me, is taking it too far. This is exactly how Buhari was behaving. And people were, oh, he's a general, he's a military man. But this one too, look at him. He's not a general. So is this an APC thing? When you come to power, you start to hunt your political opponents? That's not right. If they've done anything wrong, charge them to court. Have them released on bail so that they can go to court. Keeping them in DSS custody does not bode well for Nigeria. This is not right. Anyways, that's all I have on this issue. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell notification icon if you have not done so already. I'm always happy to hear your views in the comment section. I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.